For centuries, the coalition of known species believed the stories of humans were nothing more than campfire myths. Old veterans spoke of hairless giants from a dead world who fought wars that burned their own skis. No proof existed, only broken transmissions and ruined star charts marked with warnings. When the Drathari armada crossed into coalition space, no one expected salvation. World after world fell as the Drathari advanced with ruthless precision. Defense lines collapsed and fleets scattered. At the edge of extinction, the coalition gathered what forces remained and prepared for a final stand. That was when an unknown signal cut through the battlefield noise. It was old, ancient, and unmistakably artificial. The message was simple and terrifying. We are here and we remember. Sensors detected ships emerging not from hyperspace, but from a method no one understood. They were massive, scarred, and functional rather than elegant. No species markings, no energy signatures matching known technology. Commanders panicked, believing another enemy had arrived. Then the unknown fleet moved directly toward the Drathari frontline. Without hesitation, without formation displays or threats. The myths were stepping out of the dark. The first human volleys shattered Drathari battle cruisers like fragile glass. Their weapons were crude by coalition standards, but overwhelming in force. Solid slugs, accelerated to impossible speeds, tore through energy shields. Human ships absorbed damage that would have crippled any modern fleet. They advanced slowly, deliberately taking hits while returning devastation. Coalition commanders watched in stunned silence. These were not conquerors seeking dominance. They were soldiers reclaiming a battlefield they never forgot. Open channels finally activated, and a human voice filled the command net. Rough, calm, and unwavering. This is the Terran vanguard. Hold your lines, we take point. The Drathari attempted to regroup, focusing all fire on the human ships. It changed nothing. Human vessels rammed enemy flagships, detonating reactors at point-blank range. Boarding craft followed, filled with armored figures, moving through vacuum and fire. Coalition forces realized the legends were wrong. Humans were not extinct. They were waiting. As the battle raged, coalition medics received wounded humans. They bled like everyone else, but fought through injuries that should have stopped them. When asked why they returned after centuries of silence, a human officer answered quietly, "Because the galaxy forgot what war really costs." Records revealed humanity withdrew after nearly destroying itself in endless conflict. They chose exile over extinction. They watched silently as new civilizations rose, believing peace would last. The Drathari invasion changed that belief. Humans did not fight for territory or power. They fought because someone had to stand where others could not. Coalition soldiers followed human formations instinctively. Morale surged as the front line stabilized. For the first time since the invasion, hope returned. The Drathari began to retreat. They had never faced an enemy that advanced while smiling through broken armor. The decisive engagement came at the shattered moon of Karos. Drathari forces attempted one final push to break the coalition entirely. Humans positioned themselves directly between the enemy and civilian evacuation routes. They formed a wall of steel and fire. When coalition commanders warned the line would collapse, human captains refused withdrawal. "If we fall, they live," one said calmly. The Drathari charged with everything they had. The battle lasted hours, then days. Human ships burned, drifted, and exploded, but the line held. Boarding actions turned into brutal close combat. Every meter was paid for in blood. By the end, the Drathari fleet lay in ruins. The moon cracked from orbital bombardment, but the evacuation succeeded. The humans did not cheer. They simply reformed and waited. After the war, the coalition officially removed humans from the myth archives. They were listed as frontline allies and strategic deterrents. Children across the galaxy learned a new truth. When the darkness comes, someone will stand in front of it. Humans did not stay to rule or demand tribute. They repaired what they could and vanished once more into deep space. This time, however, they left a promise. If the galaxy ever forgets the cost of peace again, we will return. Now, when soldiers speak of legends, they no longer whisper. They speak with respect and certainty. Humans are real, and when the frontline needs holding, they will be there. Long after the last Drathari wreck drifted cold through space, the galaxy began to change. Trade routes reopened and worlds rebuilt, but something fundamental had shifted. Every species now planned its defenses differently. They no longer asked how to win wars. They asked how long they could hold until humans arrived. Coalition historians struggled to categorize humanity. They were not saviors nor conquerors. They were a reminder. On border worlds, where soldiers trained new recruits, instructors spoke a single phrase: "Hold the line." It became doctrine, philosophy, and prayer. Recovered battlefield recordings showed humans advancing through fire with measured steps. No panic, no rage, only focus. Analysts noted something unsettling. Humans did not fight harder when cornered. They fought the same way regardless of odds, as if loss had already been accepted long ago. Diplomatic envoys eventually found a Terran outpost hidden beyond mapped space. The humans received them politely, but without ceremony. When asked why they intervened after centuries of isolation, a commander answered simply, "Because extinction is loud and silence is worse." The coalition offered alliances, technology, and shared governance. Humans declined most of it. They accepted only one agreement: that no civilization would ever face annihilation alone again. Joint warning beacons were established across the rim. Each carried an encrypted Terran signal embedded deep within. If activated, it would bypass all known limitations. No one knew exactly how it worked, only that it would reach them. Children on rebuilt worlds played games, pretending to be humans at the front line. They mimicked battered armor and shouted orders they barely understood. Parents did not stop them. They remembered the day the myths arrived. Among soldiers, a quiet confidence replaced fear. Even in hopeless simulations, commanders noticed a strange calm. Someone always asked the same question: how long until they get here? In distant, human space fleets continued to train endlessly. Ships were repaired not for beauty, but endurance. Records of ancient wars were studied not as history, but as instruction. Humans understood something the galaxy was still learning. Peace is not permanent, and safety is never free. As long as stars burn, conflict will follow. And someone must choose to stand first. So the myths faded, and something stronger took their place: memory. Because when the next darkness rises, and it will, the galaxy will not wonder if humans are real. They will simply brace themselves and hold, knowing the frontline is never empty for long.